Disclaimer: the information provided in this video is for general educational and informational purposes only, based on specialized gerontological research and exercise physiology. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or physical limitations. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard in this video. Every single day past the age of 60, an invisible, absolute tragedy is unfolding within the deep architecture of your body. Right now, as you listen to these very words, a silent and relentless mechanism is systematically dismantling your muscle fibers, dissolving the very foundation of your physical freedom. By the time you finish listening to this opening paragraph, another irreplaceable fraction of your biological independence will be gone forever, washed away and replaced by a suffocating layer of metabolic fat. The terrifying truth that no one is telling you clearly enough is that this is not a gentle, passive slide into old age. It is an active, aggressive demolition of your autonomy. If you do not stop this quiet internal decay right now, you are not just getting older, you are actively choosing a future confined to a wheelchair, entirely dependent on the charity of others to perform the most basic, intimate tasks of human life. Welcome to EldraFit Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. This space is strictly dedicated to uncovering the brutal, unvarnished realities of senior health and providing you with the exact evidence-based tools required to reclaim your strength. Before we unveil the exact mechanisms of this silent crisis, please take a brief moment to subscribe to our channel. Your subscription provides the vital support and motivation we need to continue creating these deeply researched, life-saving videos for you and your family. The catastrophic loss of physical function in later life is almost never a sudden, freak accident. It is the predictable, mathematical endpoint of skeletal muscles that have been starved, neglected, and left to rot from within for years. We live under the dangerous illusion that as long as we can still walk, our bodies are perfectly fine. But beneath the surface, your frame is collapsing. The moments where you feel a sudden wave of inexplicable exhaustion, the days your legs feel like lead, or the instances where your hands feel strangely clumsy are not just random signs of a long day. They are the final, desperate warnings of a dying neuromuscular system. This window of time, right now, is the most critical and most fundamentally misunderstood phase in all of longevity science. It is the razor's edge between maintaining a life of dignity or surrendering to permanent, institutionalized vulnerability. Before we look at how to halt this decay, let us pause for a moment of profound self-honesty. Look closely at your own life and answer this single question. Which of these statements truly reflects your current mindset? Option A: I genuinely believe my current physical slowdown and loss of strength are just natural, unavoidable parts of getting older that I must accept. Option B: I suspect my body is actively trying to warn me of a deeper, dangerous decline that I have been choosing to ignore. Please type your answer, A or B, in the comment section below right now. Your honest interaction helps us understand exactly where you stand on this journey. To truly comprehend the urgency of this silent erosion, we must peel back the skin and examine the microscopic battlefield inside your limbs. The condition we are fighting is sarcopenia, a brutal medical term for the age-related starvation and death of skeletal muscle tissue. After the threshold of 60, this process accelerates into a violent downward spiral. What is actually happening is a profound biological betrayal. The alpha motor neurons, the vital electrical pathways that connect your brain to your muscles and command them to move, begin to wither and die. When these nerves perish, the specific muscle fibers they control are left completely abandoned. Without an electrical signal, they undergo immediate, irreversible apoptosis, which means they literally commit cellular suicide. This destruction specifically targets your type 2 fast-twitch muscle fibers. These are the powerful, high-velocity fibers responsible for explosive strength, sudden balance corrections, and the ability to instantly catch yourself during an unexpected trip or stumble. As these fibers vanish, your body undergoes a horrific structural transformation known as myosteatosis. The empty spaces where vibrant, functional muscle tissue once thrived are aggressively invaded and packed tight with metabolic fat and rigid, useless fibrous scar tissue. Your limbs may look the same size in the mirror, but internally, the meat of the muscle has been replaced by marbleized fat, leaving you with an empty shell of a body that possesses zero actual power. Yet, the most insidious part of this biological collapse is the adaptation trap. The human body is remarkably resilient, and when a specific group of muscle fibers dies, the surrounding muscles desperately overwork themselves to compensate for the loss. They stretch themselves to their absolute limit to carry the extra weight and maintain the illusion that you are still functional. This compensation is why you experience brief windows where the profound weakness mysteriously vanishes, where your energy seems to return, and you tell yourself that you are perfectly fine. This temporary illusion of recovery is the absolute most dangerous moment in senior health. When the weakness disappears, you do nothing. You assume it was just a passing phase. You go back to your sedentary routine, completely unaware that your remaining muscle tissue is operating at maximum capacity, burning through its final reserves. You are accumulating a massive physiological debt that your body cannot pay back. This adaptation is not a sign of healing, it is a temporary mask hiding a structural landslide. The moment this fragile compensation system finally breaks, the collapse is total, sudden, and catastrophic, leaving you permanently incapacitated because you mistook a biological emergency for a good day. How does this systemic devastation manifest in your daily life? It does not whisper, it screams through 5 distinct, sudden warning signs that you must never mistake for the gradual slowdown of normal aging. The first warning is a sudden, terrifying drop in your grip strength. You reach for a familiar jar, a heavy coffee mug, or a doorknob, and your hand simply refuses to hold. Objects slip through your fingers as if your brain's commands are dissolving mid-air. This is not the dull ache of arthritis, it is your motor nerves failing to activate your extremities. The second warning is a sudden deceleration in your walking speed, or a sudden, unprompted stumble on a perfectly flat surface. Your feet feel heavy, dragging slightly as you try to keep pace with those around you. This indicates the rapid death of your explosive fast twitch fibers in your calves and thighs. The third warning sign is the sudden inability to stand up from a low chair or sofa without using your hands to push off. The moment your legs demand assistance from your arms, the largest muscle groups in your frame, your glutes and quadriceps, have crossed a dangerous threshold of structural decay. They no longer possess the foundational integrity to lift your own weight against gravity. The fourth sign is a sudden, transient loss of balance when changing your posture. You turn around or stand up, and though your head is completely clear and free of vertigo, your legs suddenly buckle or veer sideways, forcing you to grab a nearby wall for support. These are your deep stabilizing muscles failing to react to rapid positional shifts, leaving you entirely defenseless against a catastrophic, life-altering fall. Finally, the fifth warning is a sudden, profound muscle exhaustion accompanied by uncontrollable muscle tremors after a trivial physical activity, like carrying a light bag of groceries or climbing a single flight of stairs. Your limbs shake violently and turn to jelly because the cellular powerhouses within them have collapsed into an acute energy crisis. Every single one of these signs appears in seconds, not months. They are immediate, high-priority structural alarms from your nervous system. If you notice even one of these fleeting episodes, your body is flashing a desperate red warning light. You must never wait to see if it gets better on its own tomorrow, because when the weakness temporarily fades, it is not a sign of safety, it is the silent ticking of a countdown toward total confinement. Acknowledging these warnings is the vital first step, but true survival requires immediate, systematic action. If you have stayed with me this far, you are clearly invested in protecting your future, unlike the thousands who will blindly scroll away and suffer the inevitable consequences of neglect. Over decades of clinical observation, I have witnessed one undeniable truth: true physical reversal does not come from extreme, exhausting overhauls. It comes from executing the right, precise, small actions consistently every single day. This is the exact blueprint I have mapped out inside the 30-day muscle regeneration guide for seniors over 60. Reversing age-related muscle wasting is the single most powerful, modifiable defense you have against the terrifying threat of physical dependency. Reclaiming your skeletal muscle density is the only direct method to ensure that the warning signals we just dissected never harden into a permanent disability. This guide provides a highly practical, step-by-step master plan designed specifically to rebuild your structural framework through gentle, low-impact resistance movements at home and scientifically optimized protein absorption tailored for the senior digestive system. My dedicated students who have already embraced this exact structure are experiencing profound, life-changing transformations. They report feeling an immediate surge of stability in their gait, a newfound confidence in their physical capabilities, and a deep, lasting peace of mind knowing they are finally defending their autonomy. Because I refuse to compromise on the quality of care, I am strictly limiting this cohort to only 30 people right now so I can personally review and monitor each individual's progress. Currently, 5 spots have already been claimed, leaving exactly 25 openings before the doors slam shut. To make this critical transition accessible to our dedicated community, I have applied a 70% discount for a very brief window. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to secure your copy immediately before the remaining spots vanish. Once you have finalized your registration, drop your personal email in the section below, and I will personally follow up with you to check on your daily consistency, adjust your routine, and ensure you remain firmly on the path to reclaiming your physical sovereignty. To truly understand where your body stands on this spectrum of hidden decay, you do not need complex laboratory equipment, you only need to subject yourself to an uncompromising structural mirror. This is the 5 times chair stand test, the ultimate diagnostic threshold for neuromuscular decline in later life. Sit on a standard, armless chair, cross your arms tightly over your chest, and stand up and sit down completely 5 times as fast as you possibly can. If this simple sequence takes you longer than 12 seconds, or if your thighs tremble violently as your body demands momentum, your musculoskeletal framework is officially operating in a state of high emergency. When these moments of fragility or heavy limbs occur and then seemingly fade away after a night of rest, your immediate psychological instinct is relief. You tell yourself that it was merely a bad day, a temporary bout of fatigue, or an unusual weather shift. But you must understand that acting on that sense of relief is the ultimate betrayal of your own future. A fading symptom is not reassurance, it is a silent, unyielding countdown. The human body does not heal from structural muscle wasting through passive rest. A good day is merely a temporary mask, a fragile neurological compensation that will inevitably break when the underlying foundation collapses entirely. The correct, logical response to any fleeting episode of weakness or loss of coordination is immediate, aggressive intervention. You cannot afford to wait for a routine annual physical next year or a casual conversation with a physician next month. The biological window for maximum muscle preservation requires you to fundamentally shift your nutritional priorities and initiate targeted resistance habits this very week. Every single day you spend waiting under the illusion of temporary recovery reduces your long-term physical sovereignty, quietly locking you into a future where your own home becomes a cage. As we reach the final reflections of this crucial discussion, let us step back from the cold, clinical data and look at the larger narrative of your life. Growing older should never be equated with a slow, agonizing surrender of your dignity. We often spend our youth and middle age planning for financial retirement, meticulously saving assets to ensure our freedom in later years. Yet, we blindly ignore the most valuable currency we possess, our physical capability. What use is financial independence if your own body refuses to carry you across the room? What value is a life of hard-earned leisure if you are confined to observing the world through a window, unable to pick up your grandchildren or walk through a park unassisted? The deepest lesson we must extract from the reality of age-related muscle decay is that health is not a passive state of being, it is an active, daily negotiation. Your muscles and your nervous system do not care about your past achievements or your future plans, they only respond to the demands you place on them today. The profound truth of longevity science is that you are either actively building your body up, or your body is actively tearing itself down. There is no middle ground, and there is no neutral state of survival. Applying this realization to your immediate, daily routine does not require you to transform into an elite athlete overnight or disrupt your entire lifestyle. It begins with a fundamental shift in how you view every movement and every meal. From this moment forward, look at food not just as a source of comfort, but as the raw structural material required to repair your dying muscle fibers. Ensure that high-quality, easily digestible protein accompanies your plate every single day to halt the cellular starvation happening within your limbs. When you see a chair, do not merely collapse into it, view it as a tool for structural resistance, an opportunity to perform a few intentional, controlled rises to signal to your brain that these muscle groups are still vital for your survival. Walk with purpose, lift objects with conscious awareness of your form, and treat every small physical task as a sacred act of self-preservation. By taking radical, immediate ownership of these tiny daily choices, you effectively rewrite the script of your older years, transforming a predictable trajectory of decay into a vibrant journey of sustained independence. To help us all learn from each other's experiences and build a stronger community, I would like to ask you a very simple question: have you or a loved one already noticed any of these subtle changes in strength or balance recently? Please politely share your thoughts or observations in the comment section below so we can all reference your perspective and support one another. If you found this deeply researched guide valuable, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your subscription gives us the vital motivation to continue creating high-quality, life-saving content for you.